Hey everybody, this is Simplify. We are going live. Waiting for individuals to come on in. I wonder what this is. Oh. Hey everybody, this is Simplify. So let's get it. Tell me where you're from. How does this look? Does this look better than upright? Let me know. Does this look better than upright? This is Simplify. We're going to talk about Nancy Guthrie. Back to the beginning, part 8. Let me know if you can. Let me know if this looks better the landscaping way or if you rather prefer it portrait. What is it? Tell me what you think. Of course. Come on, everybody. Talk to me now. Told you we'd be going live. Does this look better landscape or portrait? What do you guys prefer? Well, fuck. We're gonna go with portrait for now because I can't get it the other way. So we're gonna have this conversation about Nancy Guthrie, going back to the beginning to see what was missed, what was not there, what did we overlook. What did Pima County Sheriff's Office overlook? You know what I mean? What is everybody overlooking? So we want to have that conversation and want to see what you all think. Hey everybody, this is Simplify. So what you all think? Hey, what we got now? The Barber Danny. Simplify, devil dog. Arr! Simplify. Hoorah. Appreciate you all. The Barber says hoorah. So I found a picture earlier going through other podcasters and whatnot. And the picture was really interesting because it spoke like this perp looked exactly like the suspect. Now, I'm going to see if I can pull it up here in a minute. But I want to know your all's take, okay? I want to know your all's take. Come on in, everybody. Tell me where you're from. I'm from Northwest Ohio. Where's everybody from? Tell me, everybody. The Barber Danny. Hoorah. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Pulling up this picture, and I want to know if you guys remember seeing this picture. Do you guys remember this picture at all? Tell me if you can see it. Remember this guy? North Carolina, says the kid. Good to have you, kid. You guys remember this picture of this individual? Well, let's talk about this individual. Look at it closely. Kid says, yep. No doubt, right? Get that in your memory because that's what we're going to talk about this individual. Okay? That's going to be the guy we're going to talk about. And it's important because I think this guy is a lot more connected than what we think. The problem is we just don't know who in the hell he is, right? We don't know who he is. Give me 1 second, kid. I'm back, everybody. So I'm in and out, just so you all know. I am literally in and out. So you all see that picture, right, of that individual? You got it, kid. You got it. Then, in 200 feet, you got it. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, my brother. Appreciate you. So, the picture I just showed you, that guy looks very similar to the perp, now of Nancy Guthrie. So, that guy was photographed approximately 2 weeks before Nancy Guthrie was taken. Think about that. He was at another residence and he was literally photographed by another person's house through their door cam. He's got the same facial structure. He's got the same look. He's got the same everything. His eyes are nice and done. The nose, the layout of his face. Now, I'm giving you this all from a law enforcement perspective, all right? So you guys got to work with me here. I'm giving you all this from a law enforcement perspective. So what I'm trying to tell you is that his structure fits that perp that was taken at Nancy Guthrie's front door camera. You follow me? It is identical. Let me show you again because I really want you guys to see this. It's important. Remember that guy? Look at his face. Look at his mustache. Can you guys see it? Look at his face. Look at his mustache. Let me give you a better look here. Here we go. How about now? See that? He's got the eyebrows trimmed. He's got the nose structure. He's got the goatee. He's got literally pretty much the shape of the head, the body, the face. And there's other pictures that I have here. But this is the individual I want to talk about. Because I really believe this could be that one that almost got away, for a better lack of words. Almost got away. Now, the issue is that no one knows his name. He was in the vicinity of Nancy Guthrie. And let me get my glasses on. Man, I'm getting old. This Marine is getting old. Elevator has got, whatever. Elevator says, Are you a veteran? Really? Yes, sir, I'm a veteran. United States Marine Corps. Did my time, served my country. Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Susie! Susie said hi. How you doing, Susie? So, that guy that I showed you in that picture was taken approximately 2 weeks before Nancy Guthrie was abducted. He's got all the features. Matter of fact, when you look at him on another one, and I'll show you here later, on another photo, he even has the body style, the body type, the whole freaking 9 yards. It's unbelievable. I mean, literally unbelievable. And the idea that I don't know, obviously, if Pima County is looking for this individual. I don't know if anybody is searching for this individual because we're not getting a whole lot of information. Robert says, keep your eyes on the road, you madman. I am on the road. We're good. Robert, this is what I've done most of my life in law enforcement, traveling everywhere I have gone. You're in good hands. So the idea that literally this is what I think may be the perp. You guys are all seeing it, right? What do you all think? What do you all think? Do you guys think it could be the perp? It's just a question. But see, no one knows his name. No one knows who he is. No one knows who this guy is. You know what I'm saying? No one knows who this guy is. What do you all think? Tell me. What do you all think? Is it him? Could it be him? Come on, let's hear it. Give me your opinion, everybody. That's what we're here for, to get everybody's opinion. Yeah. Watermelon head, sure. Whatever it takes. Major Kenny. Whatever it takes. The key is this guy has all the identifiers as far as the facial features. He has all the identifiers as far as literally the way his eyes, the detail. I mean, this guy's got it all, everybody. This guy has got it all. And that's what I want to share with you guys, because it is very important to understand what's going on. Yesterday, give me a sec. If you have been in this channel, you understand I'm always in and out. So you just got to bear with that. But see, we talked about literally potential suspects or people of interest, right? Yesterday. We talked about that. We talked about names of individuals who would be really people of interest that could be, or at least should be looked at. And the idea that we don't know because there's not a whole lot of information being given. You know what I'm saying? There's not a whole lot of information that's been given to us. So the idea is that we're trying to just figure out who is the perp that took Nancy Guthrie. How do we see, or what do we look for in an individual that we have no description of what was her last, when her son-in-law took her home at 9:30 p.m. from her daughter's in his home. That's Annie and Tomasco. When Tomasco took her home and dropped her off, we couldn't even get a what was she wearing. You follow me? We couldn't even get a what was she wearing. Think about that for a minute. We couldn't even tell what she was wearing because they didn't tell us what she had on. And right now, we're trying to figure out what could it, who could it be? Now, the bad thing about it right now today, it's been about 51, 52 days already, literally. We haven't heard anything in a while, other than you'll hear some people on some lives, or some people on some news medias will say, I think it's close. I think it's close. I think they're working on something behind the scenes. But the reality is we really don't know what the hell's working behind the scenes, if I'm just being frank and honest. Do I think they are working? Yes, I do. I do. As law enforcement, absolutely. I think there's a lot of things we don't even know about this. But my gosh, you got to give something to the people so that they could feel like at least certain things have been checked out. The original search party that went on when it first was known that she was abducted, I mean, that really wasn't a big search, right? It really wasn't. Because if it was a big search, you would have had, Tucson Police Department, local police department, you would have had the county, you would have had, if people were available from fire and rescue, you would have had just about every entity, the Arizona Highway Patrol. You would have had all these people involved, because the first 3 days, 24 to 72 hours are the most crucial time in something like this, when something like this happens. So the idea is that, you really, truly need to hit it, and hit it hard. And I just don't think that was done. So now what you're having is, they had the interview with the previous sheriff, Numnick, if I'm saying that right, Numnick. And I watched this with Brian Eaton, this interview he did. I mean, he even said, look, to do a massive search party right now, in his words, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's really, it's not going to possibly turn up any results anyway. And the reason he's saying that is because you've had rain, okay? You've had rain. You had high winds. You have disturbances of the desert sand, right? Things are going to get blown away, So the reality is that, there is no really. It should have been done a long time ago. Now, that doesn't mean people can't go out and look and try to find, maybe some remains or some clothing or whatever may have been taken from her home, to include, obviously, Nancy Guthrie. But the idea that it's going to be that much easier, no, it's that much harder. And it's almost, honestly, It's almost impossible right now with the time that has passed. Just telling you what I know from law enforcement. It's just not. Let's see what we got here in the chat. I ate some chili last night and woke up this morning to the wettest. Wow, interesting, PJ. Interesting. Okay. Sorry to hear that about your those problems you were dealing with. But right now it's about Nancy, my friend. But thank you. Thank you for sharing that to everybody. I'm not sure everybody really, cares to know that, but so be it. So that's really the idea, guys, ladies, everybody. You guys know, maybe the ones who have been in here, you guys know me. My big thing is I have literally reasons why I'm really invested in this. It's very personal to me. So the idea that literally a lot of things weren't done at the beginning, it just blows my mind. Now, that picture I showed you earlier, I really do believe that could be he was this person that I showed you earlier. Think about it. 2 weeks prior to Nancy getting taken, he was going around at night to people's homes, and this one person's home, really close by to Nancy's, went ahead and got this picture of this person of interest. And he looks a lot like the perp. I'm telling you, he looks a lot like the perp. I just don't know if anybody is even looking. They're looking for someone, obviously, that looks like him. But it would be nice to see if somebody who recognizes him would come out and give tell the police. Dude, there's like $1.2 million on the table. If you're not going to do it for the goodness of your heart, do it for your payday. That's $1.2 million. They want her brought back either to celebrate with her or to go ahead and celebrate her life that she lived. That's according to Savannah. What do you all think? Tell me what you think, everybody. Come on now. Tell me what you think. Do you guys think this is something where she can be found? Do you think she's still alive? Because we're not hearing nothing. I mean nothing. And that's the worst place to be. Now, some say, well, when you don't hear anything, that's really a good sign because they're keeping it quiet. And sometimes they're right. Sometimes they are right. Sometimes it is a good sign. If you had a lot of leads, it's a great sign because they don't want anything slipping up. And then sometimes, no, it's not a good sign. Song's in the house. Welcome back, Song. I think she is alive. I sure as heck hope so, Song. I sure as heck hope so. My whole thing was that this was all about a ransom. This was all about a money thing, right? So my only concern is, why hasn't there been any proof of life? You know what I mean? Why hasn't there been any proof of life? Why hasn't anybody come out and said, hey, we're ready to make a swap, or we're ready to go ahead and do X, Y, and Z? Because they know that they're going to have to give a proof of life. No one who does a crime of this magnitude, of this nature, when it comes to literally, kidnapping for ransom, no one know. Everybody knows you're going to have to give a proof of life, right? That just goes without saying. No one's going to give you all this money if you can't produce the goods. But I think right now the family is like just going, hey, you give us back our mother either which way, shape, or form. As Savannah put it, we can either celebrate that she's back with us and her family, or we'll celebrate the long life she has lived. And I think that's pretty clear where the family is standing, you know. So I hope to God she's alive. I want her to be alive. I want her to be able to get back and literally be with her family. I just don't know, as a law enforcement officer, it's a long time she's been gone. It's a long time since we've heard anything about any demands, you know, and that's always a scary thought, always a scary thought. So I don't know what the rationale is, other than we got to start hearing something. If for anything, for the people not to lose hope, literally, for the people not to lose hope. Because here's the thing, once the people start losing faith in their police department, in their sheriff's department, in the people that are supposed to be there to protect them, once people start losing faith in that aspect, that's a big hill to climb. You know what I mean? That's a very big hill to climb. And I don't know how they get back there. But anyway, so that's what we're at. And yeah, I hope, like you, Song, I hope she is alive. I hope she's brought back to her family. Does anybody have any person of interest that they think might be the ones? We covered a lot of people yesterday. A lot. Giving ideas of who. You know, everybody was, talking about certain different people that kind of fit that narrative. Has anybody here got anybody in their mind? Have you looked over some things? Has anybody found any information about the 911 call that was made? Or I don't know if theirs is 411, but the 911 call that was made of the woman who was screaming out the window for help during this whole time that this was going on. Has anybody got that by any chance? Because I can't find it. I can't get that information. And I would like to know from the time that call was made to what time did they locate that vehicle. Because that could be speaking volumes as well. Anybody have any theories? Anybody have any takes? Or has everybody already given up? Because that's the worst thing that could happen, is people give up. They give up, and then this just turns into a cold case. That's just not good, obviously. Think about that for a minute. What do you all think? Tell me. Tell everybody in here. There's people watching that are just not interacting because, they want to hear what's going on. But that would be my take. Do you think, literally, that there's other suspects that we need to look at? Do you have any clues on who may be a person of interest? Do you have any clue or any ideas of other things that were missed? Anything, anybody, anything. Because look, we could talk about anything. We could talk about, what's the good restaurants, what's our good foods, what are this and that. But man, as a law enforcement for many years and done many investigations, I can tell you, I'm all about the business at hand, you know. And I wish I could just make this more comfortable as far as the questions that we ask or the questions that we're wondering what. You know, right now, we just don't have any leads, and it is getting quieter and quieter. But tell me, think about it. Let me grab something. Think about it and let me know. Nothing at all. Come on, everybody, think. Nothing at all yet. Let me show you another picture. Let me show you another picture, maybe. Give me a second. Let me show you another picture, and maybe this may help out. So, here's another picture of this individual. The guy at the top is the guy. Can you see that? The guy at the top is the guy. The guy at the bottom was done by one of the top artists, sketch artists in the world that did the sketch to try to, with all the information he had. Did you guys see that picture at all? Tell me what you think. Can you see the resemblance? Can you see the resemblance between all those people? I don't know, everybody. I mean, it just seems so logical. How this this person of interest, how he fits in the narrative. If you are not a subscriber, if you haven't clicked like, please do me that favor. Click like and subscribe for free. Don't need to pay anything. Just want to have this conversation. Let's build a channel, because this won't be the only case I cover. I will be covering more cases, being that it's in my wheelhouse. So how's everybody doing today? Good? Where's everybody from? Let's just break the ice, man. Where's everybody from? If you care to share, that'd be awesome. I know we had somebody yesterday from Alberta, Canada. Much appreciated with everybody who has been on here in the past. No doubt about it. Anything. So the other idea is that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. You know, I don't want to paint this gloom and doom, okay? I don't want to paint this picture of doom and gloom, like everything is, everything is lost. And if I'm doing that, that's not what my intentions are. But I do want to be honest with y'all. I want to be honest to the point where, even from a law enforcement perspective, time is of essence. Time is crucial. The time is very crucial. And right now, it's just very hard to see the positive of a lot of things. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Think about it, everybody. Think about what could be happening. Has anybody heard any other information as to what's going on? Any other information? Come on, everybody. Do we want to go back and cover the people that we covered yesterday as far as potential people of interest? Does anybody think Tommaso had anything to do with this? Let's start at the beginning. Does anybody think Tommaso had anything to do with it? That is the husband of Nancy Guthrie. Does anybody think that he had anything to do with it? Let's start there. Does anybody think Tommaso, Annie's husband, had anything to do with it? Do you see any evidence? The only evidence I see, or the only information that I see that's really troubling, is that he was the last one to see Annie potentially alive, because he took her home after they had a party and watched play games and ate at Annie and Tommaso's home. She took an Uber over there at 6:30 p.m. approximately. He brought her back. He dropped her off. 2 minutes, the garage door opened and they closed. He left. The only reason I say that he is a potential person of interest is because he was the last one to see her alive. You know, what was she wearing? We can't get anything of what she was wearing. How does the people that are with her on her last night cannot tell us what she was wearing so that we know what we're looking for? Or what the people in the community are looking for. And so then the other thing is, how come there's no pictures of Tommaso Ciccione literally pulling into the driveway of Annie Guthrie's home? Why isn't there any video pictures, still pictures, or video from Nancy Guthrie's cam or anybody else's cam in the neighborhood showing him arriving? He's got to have his lights on, right? It is dark. You're not going to miss headlights. And then when he leaves, you're going to have tail lights. Got to hit that brake. Red lights at night are like very bright. How are we not seeing any pictures? So for me, that is the only reason I would say that he is not cleared. The whole family is not cleared. I don't care what anybody says. That's the reality. Because you can't answer those questions. You can't answer those. You can't answer those dynamics in this situation. If you could answer those questions, if you could say why the camera didn't get his vehicle, what route did he take when he went home? What route did he take? Did he take a certain route that they could go back and backtrack and ask the people on that route, do they have cameras? And if so, see if they can capture anything out of those cameras? I mean, it's not very difficult to do, in all honesty. That is not hard to do. So for me, that's why there's no way in hell you're going to rule out Tommaso Ciccione. I get it, he's a son-in-law, and I hate for anybody in the family to be involved. But the same token, if you're going with the evidence and clues and why this is presented, I mean, you got a perp who was at the front door. You got a perp who went and they showed him how he walked away from the front door, got some foliage, some flowers to try to hide the camera, to try to like cover up the camera at the front door. It captured that. There was cars that it captured going by the house on the front road. So explain to me how there's no pictures of this vehicle coming or leaving Nancy Guthrie's home. I'm just saying. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm saying, why isn't there? Dennis Halsman. How you doing, Dennis? Good to have you here. I think it's Dennis or Denise Holtzman. Good to have you. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? How is it that we don't have any pictures, any still videos of Mr. Ciccione, Annie Guthrie's husband? I'm not saying he did anything. I'm talking about evidence. I'm talking, why wasn't there any evidence? Because that would literally show, by him leaving and arriving, that would answer so many questions. It would probably eliminate him completely, but it would look a hell of a lot better, in my opinion. But we don't see anything. So then how does the sheriff go out and say the whole family is cleared? How does he do that? How is he able to distinguish that the whole family is cleared when there's no evidence that he even arrived there? I mean, we know by what's been reported that Nancy Guthrie never took her medicine. Right. Ask yourself, why didn't she take the medicine? Did she forget it? I don't know. She takes it every day. Did she forget to take her medicine? Did she think she was coming home so she would take it when she got home? Did she never arrive home? Did she never arrive home? I know it sounds crazy. I'm just saying. There is no videos or pictures. And I'm not accusing him. Make no mistake, everybody. I'm just asking for some common sense facts. Some common sense things that you would expect. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. I mean, that's a compelling case as to why that stuff's not there. Why those pictures and the still videos or still pictures and the videos are not there of him arriving and leaving her house. I'm just asking the questions because it seems like not a lot of people with power or not a lot of people who have and make decisions are asking those questions. And if there are, then why are they not letting us know? Hey, we have determined that so-and-so is not a suspect or has been cleared because we saw the right after he dropped off, right after he dropped off Nancy at her house and she walked in and closed the garage door, he left. And we have pictures of all that showing that. And we did backtrack it, and yes, he is cleared. How hard is that? I mean, you're not really compromising anything. You're not compromising the case. If anything, you're giving people hope that you're going on these leads. It's okay to have stuff at your chest that you have to hold on to so that people won't, when people start calling and saying, hey, I know where she's at. Hey, you want to make sure they're credible. So they're going to have to go ahead and give you something that only a potential person of interest or a suspect would know, right? So why is it just becoming so difficult to just say the things that are not going to make that difference to go ahead and do? You know what I mean? I don't think that's asking for too much. You're not asking for how she was taken. You're not asking for, what door did she come out of? You're not asking for, what did you see inside the house? I mean, you can't answer those questions because that only the perp is going to know those type of answers, right? And you want to make sure they're credible. So tell me, do you still think that just what I've covered there, it's been reported that Annie and Tomasco were, some people have reported, some outlets have reported that they were in some financial difficulties, hardships. You combine all this information, you can still say that he's cleared? Can you still say that? Honestly? Are the people supposed to believe that? And if they are, how? What do you all think after you're hearing this? Do you think he could be a suspect or do you think he is totally cleared? Tell me. Give me some feedback, everybody. I need some feedback. Come on. I know you're in here. I know a lot of you are in the back listening. Tell me what you think. It's very important. It's important because it goes to the premise of what really happened. You know what I mean? To what happened, what took place. So there's something for you at the beginning. Tommaso Cioni, did he have anything to do with this? Does anybody got a take? Does anybody got any? I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying he does or doesn't. I'm saying with what I just told you, do you see some inconsistencies here? Would you, if you were the sheriff, would you say he was completely cleared? Ask yourself these questions. Was he completely cleared, in your opinion? Don't forget, if you're watching, please do me that favor. Click like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Just want to get your perspective. Has anybody got any takes on that? Because I'm trying to dig into that toolbox and try to bring out questions that if I was at a press conference with the sheriff, those would be questions I'd be asking. Sir, could you tell us if there was any pictures or videos still of Tommaso Cioni arriving or leaving Nancy once he, I mean, that's pretty clean cut and dry, right? You know, would you do that? Is that a good question? I think it is. I think it's a great question. Or how about, it's been reported that there has been a lot of financial problems that they were having. You know, has all that been cleared, or that's not legit? I mean, something simple. Once again, when you're dealing with these type of high profile cases, you want to know that they're checking into these leads, right? You want to know that they're checking into these leads. You want to know that. So once again, you're dealing with that. Right? Once again, you're dealing with that variable. Is anybody, tell me, please, I want to hear it. I want to hear your all's opinion. Do you all think that he is cleared? Do you all think that Tommaso is cleared? Because once I get down talking about Tommaso, we're going to go to somebody else, and I'm not going to talk about him anymore. And if you guys bring him up, great. Because I'm not saying he's doing anything or has done anything. I'm asking the questions, why is your typical evidence of pictures and videos not there? You know what I mean? Okay, so we covered that. If you are watching and you like the video, please do me a favor, click like, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe. Let's build this channel. Let's have this conversation. I mean, here, you could ask people who have no clue in law enforcement, who are wielding a camera and have no, literally, knowledge of how it works on the scale of law enforcement. You could ask them, how are they going to give you a perspective from law enforcement? You know what I mean? How are they going to share a perspective of law enforcement? It just don't make sense to me. That's like going to a plumber, asking him, a plumber, hey man, how do you bake a cake? Really? I'm just saying, you guys got some very good opportunities of at least answering your own question. Why not take advantage of answering that question? Tell me what you think, everybody. Do me that favor. Tell me what you think. I don't know if Tommaso or Annie or anybody of the family member had anything to do with it? I don't know. I mean, we haven't heard anything about Cameron. Yeah, we know he lives in the East Coast, up northeast. I think it's like Rhode Island or New Hampshire or something like that. We haven't heard anything about him. We haven't heard anything about, you know, um, Annie. Savannah has all the money in the world, so I'm not sure, you know. My point is, if you want to be objective, you have to look at everything. And you have to look at everything as potential people of interest. And you always start from the people closest to her. Why? Because it's always about the person closest to the victim. Not always, but a very high percentage. It's always about somebody who knew the victim or who was very close to the victim. A high percentage. Let me know what you think. So how about, let's move on to the next person. How about Derek Kalela? Let's see who we got here. See what we got here. All right. I sent you the email of the car they have found in the background of the still shot. Now, folks are seeing tracks in the driveway that we have not noticed before. Okay, thanks, Gene. I'm going to check it out. I am definitely going to check it out. Good to see you here, Gene. Thank you for being here. Nancy Grace was saying last night that there was a Pima County helicopter flying over the county down towards Mexico and back to FBI headquarters in Tucson. Yeah, I heard something about that. I did hear something about that. Thank you for bringing that up. I did hear something about that. I will check my email and see if I got the car. I think I seen the car that you're talking about, but I'm gonna go ahead and check it here in a second. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I got your message on trying to change the landscape of the phone, and I thought it would be so simple, but I got to do some other things to change it. So I will change it, but thank you so much. I'm going to go with the landscape and layout. I just got to figure out how to go ahead and change it to that. So just want to give you that. Didn't forget about it at all by no means. So that's, let me look at that, see if I can find, let me see if I can find that. I'm gonna see if I can look at my email real quick. I'm not seeing it. Let me go down here and see. Let me go here. Let me check inbox. Oh yeah, I got it, Gene. I just pulled up. Let's see it. Okay. All right, give me a second. I'll look at that, okay? I do have it here. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, no one really has anything that they want to say on Tomasco, whether he had something to do with this or not. No opinions on that, huh? Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Hey, Gene, where was that vehicle? I'm seeing it. This is a picture that Gene just sent me. If you all can remember that photo, Gene just sent me that. I'm trying to play it, but it's not playing for whatever reasons. So it's going to be right there where that red circle's at. Trying to get it there. See where that little circle's kind of drawing in red? That's where that car's at. Thank you for that picture, Gene. Appreciate it. So, interesting. I'm trying to figure out where that vehicle exactly is at. For whatever reason, it's not playing. All right. So that's where we're at, everybody, and that's why it's crucial. So does anybody else have any take on anybody? Did you guys see that? Any thought about it? Any thought about that car that was hiding in the back that they came across? Okay, yeah, I did. Let me see here. Yeah, I blew it up with my fingers. Yeah, it's definitely a dark color vehicle. It's definitely a dark color vehicle. And I totally see it, no doubt. I see it, big time. Very interesting. Yeah, it looks like a very emblem on the front. Absolutely it does. A VW. It sure does. Well, thank you, Gene. I appreciate that. You always have you always been here, and you've always been on this chat. So by all means, I appreciate it. I mean, there's information out there, and why we can't seem to get more answers as to why and how come is beyond me. But so what about our next person? Anybody? What do you guys think about Derek Kalela from California, who was arrested for sending Nancy and Tommaso a message saying that they were ready to make the exchange? If they got the Bitcoin yet, they were ready to make the exchange. Do you think that was just opportunist? I think it was an opportunist, in all honesty. I really do. I think it was an opportunist trying to capitalize on someone else's demise. Okay, Gene says, yes, I do. Amen. Well, there you go. Gene, hold on to fort. I'm going to go in there real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. All right, everybody. So what else we got going on? I believe all of the random notes were not legit. No, that's no doubt. That's no doubt. I totally agree with that. Gene says, unless she died during the request. Yuli said, hi, how you doing, Yuli? Good to have you. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, Gene, I mean, there's so many different things and so many ways to look at certain things. And I am one who believes that she was unalived pretty quick, but not purposely, but it happened, and that kind of sent everything array, if you will. Because of the fact that they could never give a proof of life. So that made me feel like I do believe this was a ransom. I do believe this was about money, and I do believe that something happened. It just went wrong. Maybe not purposely, but it went wrong. And, they didn't have a way to go ahead and get their ransom because you're going to have to show a proof of life. No one's going to give you anything without a proof of life. So, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. It's just amazing because sometimes I ask myself, like, I play these roles in my head and ask myself, what could have happened? What could have sent this to happen? And there's a lot of probabilities, but yeah, I think this happened pretty early. Not necessarily in the house, but it could have been while driving away to their other location, wherever that may have been. I mean, that's why I'm really leaning to that blue vehicle of Luke Daly. I'm really leaning on that because I feel like those questions haven't been answered either. Not to my satisfaction. Those have not been answered. And I don't know how anybody just can not answer those, not bring those cases up. I mean, the blue card, literally. I've been saying this from the beginning when I had that little aha moment. And I want to know from the time that literally the 911 call was made and when they got stopped. And who was in the car? How many people were in the car at the time when the officer pulled them over? Was it 25 minutes? Was it 30 minutes? Was it 40 minutes? Was it 2 perps, 3 perps? How many? Because I would venture to say it's just too coincidental for all these things to be happening at the same time. That's just too many coincidences to me. I just don't buy that. That's like, man, I'd be a rich man hitting the lottery if I believe in those type of things. I just don't. I think there's a reason, and it's painting that picture, and the picture's being painted for us, and yet we're still having a hard time trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So, for me, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. When did the 911 call come in, and what time did that vehicle eventually get stopped? Because there's a 25, 30 minute, 40 minute gap, more or around there. My gosh. You're talking about more than enough time to get rid of a body because of the screaming, and then because of the response, and then if that person ends up passing at that moment, you can sure as bet that yeah, it wouldn't take long to just find a spot quickly. I see that. That's why I'm so big on that, but I haven't heard any information. I haven't heard any information. Give me 1 second. Let me drop this off here. Give me 1 second. The one thing we do in law enforcement is we constantly go back. Law enforcement worth their salt will always go back and look over. I know we talked about this, and you know what? We'll be going back to this constantly and find out what we missed, what we didn't catch, what we didn't see. Because that's what good law enforcement people do. No one gets it right on the first, second try, usually, unless it's blaring right in front of your face. So, let me read these here. Gene says, unless she died during the request. Julie said, hi. Julie sends the hearts, prayers, and the yellow hearts for Nancy. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Julie. I know Nancy would appreciate all those things. Thank you so much. Gene says, I seen a robbery out there that involved 3 people, 1 woman, and she would have an Amazon package. I guess to see if they were home. I think the situation is going on a lot. No doubt. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Gene says, I bet they're still watching all those guys who they had arrested. No doubt. And here's the thing. They would not be doing their job if they didn't go back and keep looking and keep looking. Because I'm telling you, the information's there. The information is there. The hard part is trying to piece it together and connect that puzzle, right? But the whole thing, the whole setup, the whole situation is there. You're not trying to reestablish any facts or anything. It's there. You just have to go ahead and find that right connection. And they have it. If they just haven't stumbled over that aha moment. Eventually they will. But there has to be an open mind in everybody. An open mind in everybody. Not just, look, I would want to believe that no person would do this to a family member. Or this. But we know that that's not true. We know that that happens a lot. So, and once again, I'm not saying that any of the family members did this. I'm saying you just have to look at all the possibilities. You know what I mean? Because nothing can be ruled out when you're dealing with something like this. And the facts. You know what I mean? So, That's what I would say, personally. Yuli says, keep hunting until you find the answers. Much hearts, love, and support. Canada, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Yuli. Thank you so much. God bless. Yeah, I mean, you can't give up. And I know it's frustrating. And I know that we're covering a lot of the same things we covered in the past. But that's because there's nothing out there. They're not giving anything else out. I guarantee you the next time you hear something major breaking news, it's going to be something about the perp has been arrested, or the perp has been located, or we have somebody in custody. Because here's the thing, any information they give us, and you have to understand this in law enforcement, any information that they give us from here on out, it's going to be a nugget. And I mean a golden nugget. I mean, it's going to be the enchilada. It's going to be the big kahuna. It's not going to be, oh, well, we talked to somebody and they said they saw this, and that is already, that ship has sailed. Okay, they have the information, is trying to piece it together. So it's going to be something major. It won't be something very minor. You know, hey, there was another glove that was found. Not happening. Hey, there was a, whatever. You know, not happening. What you're going to expect on the next one is going to be a major golden nugget. Either there's an arrest, they have the perp in custody, or those are really the only things they're going to say, because there is nothing else. They can't give us anything else just to lead you on, because there's nothing else you can get to lead you on. Gene says, I can't wait for that day. Oh, I guarantee it's going to happen. You know, it may take a while, but it's going to happen. But that's why you have to go over and over this information and over. And they do. Good, solid law enforcement officers working their ass off trying to resolve this and solve this case. They're going to be relentless. And they're going to do everything they possibly can to make sure they get this thing resolved. Okay? They won't stop. Not because it's Nancy, not because it's Savannah Guthrie's mother and because she's famous. They're going to do everything to get this resolved, because it's their wheelhouse. It's what they do. It's what they do. You know, crimes of all types are not that easy to eventually stay away, eventually get away with. Just not. Yuli Gill said hi. How you doing, Yuli Gill? Good to have you, Yuli Gill. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you so much. Glad you all are here. Don't forget, if you're watching, just click like and subscribe. Look, you're not going to, I'm not anybody that is just going to throw out stuff that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to throw out stuff, and I'm not here to, to BS you like a lot of people have BS a lot of other people. I'm here just to give you what I see. And I know just by talking and hearing the questions you guys are asking, I know you know that. I know you see that, and I know you appreciate that. Once again, you're not going to go to a plumber to find out how to bake a cake. You're not going to go to a dentist to go ahead and get your kidneys taken out. It's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. So why would you go to somebody, literally anybody, and I'm just calling it for what it is, who really might have a checkered past, might not really understand how it all works, and get your information there and think that it's golden. Really? I mean, if people are that needy, then that's sad. The fact is, I would always go to somebody who's in that field of whatever I'm looking to do or I'm looking for answers for. Because the chances are they're probably going to have some type of more reasonable assumptions instead of just, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Gene says they were saying yesterday they're going to hold a meeting with Nanos to re-ask the question about his background. Yep. I think to try to get him out without the recall. I mean, it's possible. Look, if you don't tell the truth and something like this happens, you can always bet when someone doesn't like you, they're going to come after you. Okay? And they'll look at anything. In this case, they'll look at Nanos and say, hey, you didn't tell everything, all the truth in this, this is why, blah, 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 So it's always better just to say the truth, If someone hit someone or choked someone or beat someone or literally assaulted someone, just admit it. It happened. Admit it, Pictures don't lie. People may lie, but pictures don't lie. Bruises don't lie. And I'm saying this as an example that sometimes you just need to be honest with yourself. But then again, we're not all the same in one, I guess. But you're right. They're gonna. I did hear some of it last night. I was listening to some of it yesterday when they were all they were trying to, get him out. Elected positions going to be hard. Even with that, it's going to be hard. He's going to have to get the signatures. Probably going to have to go ahead and do a recall to get him out. Have someone else fill in until they go ahead and get a permanent sheriff. I mean, I heard they were talking about how some of the deputies were being mistreated. That some of the deputies were being, just treated horribly. Look, I don't know. All I can tell you is that when shit goes south, you better have all your ducks in a row. Because when you do stuff people don't approve of or don't feel that you're doing what they want you to do, it's all about time. It's a matter of time. But you're right. I heard about that, Gene. Thank you for bringing that up. Yuli, maybe they can hunt down the other missing people and help find Nancy at the same time. It's interesting you say that, Yuli, because there's so many people that go missing, right? So many people. And, maybe they should just, if they're going to search. I mean, you may find other things and be able to solve other crimes, if you will. And I think that's what you're saying, Yuli, and I think that's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, like the random clothes they were finding. Yeah, I know Jim, one of these who I really like because he goes out there and he literally tries to do his best on his truck and motorcycle, dirt bike, to go out there and hunt for things, clues out there in the desert. Literally, I'm talking searching. And, he come across some tan pants. He came across a knee brace. He came across, what was it? I think it was like a sheet or something. Needless to say, he came across some items And, we all know that, those tan pants, or some would say khakis, we know that Nancy Guthrie liked those, and like she wore those. And we also know that, in the same token, we also know that Nancy had bad knees. I don't know if she wore a knee brace, but what, I get what you're saying, and you're exactly right. And then finally, I guess someone came and got those items. Okay, went and came and got those items. So I would hope that it was the FBI or Pima County Sheriff's Office. I hope they sent them to the lab to get them tested. But it's little things like that, that can make all the difference in the world, right? Because then you would know we're in that area, we're in that ballpark. This is where we need to be hunting. This is where we need to be searching, But you're right. You could solve a lot. Run that through DNA, see what hits, put it in the DNA, put it in your computers for all your national, like we would call it NCIC and NCIS and all these different types of registered people who have committed crimes, and see if you get a hit. Doesn't hurt. But yeah, you're right on the money, bud. Right on the money, no doubt about it. Gene, his union leader was saying that. Oh, I did not know that. I did not know that. Found other. His union leader was saying that. Interesting. Jim was supposed to be out there this weekend hunting. He says, look along the roadside. Yeah, that's what he does. He doesn't go too far in, because most people who do these type of crimes are not going to want to have a body in their vehicle for any length of time, right? It's kind of hard to explain having a body, okay? It's kind of hard to explain if for some odd reason, something that you do not foresee happening, something you do not, it just happens spontaneously, right? As far as you getting stopped for speeding, or you getting stopped for not using your turn signal, right? Something so minimal, right? Those things that you just can't explain, like, oh, I can't believe this is what did me in. I mean, you go look at the bomber, McVeigh, who bombed the Murrah building up in Oklahoma, okay, the FBI building in Oklahoma. And you go ahead and think that he wouldn't have been caught. He was on his way, I believe he was headed to Michigan, but he didn't have a license plate, and they stopped him. Now who in the hell is going to do a major crime like that, not have a license plate on after doing something crazy? But they stopped him. They stopped Timothy McVeigh. I know, I was there in that area at that time. I worked in law enforcement at that time. So they stopped Timothy McVeigh, OHP, and just through asking questions, he was the guy who did the crime in Oklahoma, bombing, So, yes, it's those little things that will make all the difference in the world, right? All the difference in the world. It's those little things that you just don't foresee. So that's why people, they don't want any evidence in their vehicles or whatever in the hell they're doing. They don't want it. They'd rather just dump it off somewhere, right? So that's why Jim is talking about just staying close to the roadside, because no one's going to drive their vehicle inside an unknown type of terrain. God only knows what's in there, and then either gets stuck and or goes ahead and somebody else sees your headlights out there in somebody else's land, if you will, for that matter. So they're going to stay pretty close to the road. And then if they're going to drop a body, they're going to drop it right there by the road, or they're going to dig a quick little, I'm talking a 5-minute little shallow hole and throw it in there. if they just want to get rid of it very quickly. You know what I mean? So that's why people who are talking about taking this person a long distance here and over the Mexican border and this, that, and the other, I don't buy none of that. I don't buy none of that. If they're smart, I don't buy none of it. If they're dumb, well, maybe so. I mean, they got to be dumb for doing the crime in the first place. But you know what I'm getting at? In a lot of cases, people who get caught for the stupidest little thing that they forgot to do or not do, you know? And that's what I'm saying. So you're right. I mean, you know, Jim, I love watching him because he is literally someone who what I would call is a searcher. He's not just a reporter. He's not just a commentator or someone who wants to inform people what's going on. He gets his butt out there and does it. And kudos to him. He deserves a lot of a praise, because I think that just speaks volume about his character. That's just me. And I'm speaking more from law enforcement than anything. So, yeah, sorry going on that tangent there, but it just wanted to give you examples on how stuff like this happens that are not planned to happen. Okay, let me see here. I would have checked rest stops, especially garbage cans, for evidence. No doubt. Gene says, Jim's awesome. I love watching that guy. Look, there's not too many other people that I enjoy. I do watch some, but you know, there's Jim is one of those guys that I enjoy big time, and I just think what he does is priceless, literally priceless. All right, where we at? Don't forget, you got to click like and subscribe. Leave your comments. Tell me what you think. So, give me a second. Gene, hold on to fort. I'll be right back. Semper Fi is back. Let's see here what we got. All right, all right. Don't forget to share this out to your friends as well, everybody. Don't forget to go ahead and share this with your friends, with other people. Here's the thing. It's always good to have some contacts with people. I still know people in law enforcement. I still communicate and talk to a lot of people who are still in law enforcement. I just, you know, once it's with you, once you're in it, I mean, you can't leave it, because there's always something where something is happening that you feel like is drawing you back into, you know, help see how you would see things different, you know. But do me that favor, share it to your followers. So that's where that's at. There's so many things, you know. I mean, there's just, I don't know. There's a lot of people who really try to do a good job for all the right reasons. And then there's also people who do things just for personal gain. And yeah, yeah. I would always tell you, do your homework on the people that you follow, because you'd be surprised at what you come across. Literally. But nevertheless, moving right along now. Have you have your friends in law enforcement made any comments about this case? You know, I talked to some that have said that they kind of feel a little bit like what I'm saying. Some, believe it or not, some just don't really like get involved. They enjoy their retirement. They enjoy their fishing. And then some, you know, they're in it because once it's a part of you, it's a part of you, you know. And they feel similar. They feel similar, very similar. And I think the consensus of everything, to be honest, Jane, the consensus is that obviously this person knew this was targeted. This was not just spontaneous. This was not only targeted, that this was planned. And this was something that somebody had to know the family. Somebody had to know the footprint pattern of what Nancy did. Somebody had to know the terrain. So it's going to be somebody familiar, if not with the family, it's going to be someone who's familiar with the layout of the house. With the layout of the house, with Nancy's, you know, being 84-year-old young, 84 years young, and also the fact of somebody who knows that her condition. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But they have said stuff like that. Yeah, it's very interesting, you know. And look, everybody has different views and opinions, and that's great. And you know, I'm not looking per se, honestly, for like different views and opinions. I'm looking for ideas of what was missed. I'm looking for ideas of who might have done this. Views and opinions, everybody has them, right? What's that old saying? They're like, you know what? Everybody has one, right? Um, but when you start dealing within law enforcement, now you start literally, it starts making sense. And when you have that experience, man, a lot of this stuff makes sense. And it's because you've seen stuff similar to it, or you've seen stuff in the same realm, in the same synopsis, in the same thinking. You know, you've seen stuff that's crimes are crimes, just that some crimes are a lot more heinous than other crimes, but crimes are crimes. So yeah, that's interesting, very interesting. Hold down the fort, my friend. Hold on the fort, Gene. Please do me that favor. I appreciate you. So what else we got here going on? One of the people doing a piece of Ashley Banfield was able to pull up the floor plan online. Interesting. I think they are very interested in the new construction house, the workers that were there. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about the construction, the people that are doing construction. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people right now currently doing a lot of repairs at that house that was used as an Airbnb and or rental, where the three individuals lived. There's a lot of repairs doing. There's a lot of repairs doing on like septic tanks and stuff that makes you think, right? And covering some of these podcasters, people that, what I call crime junkies, people who like to get into the crime cases. I can tell you that literally, I've seen a lot of construction trucks, bulldozers, rollers. I mean, you name it. A lot of different things that you would use for repairing homes and whatnot. Well, that makes you wonder, like, why all of a sudden are we seeing all this? So just interesting when you see all that, and then you ask, is there a coincidence? Well, yeah. is there a reason behind it? Well, yeah. And once again, all this stuff that's happening cannot all just happen at the same time that everything else is going on. It makes no sense, right? No sense whatsoever. So, like I said, I believe in luck with horseshoes. I believe that, everything the inches, count on horseshoes. But as far as everything else, I just don't buy it. Dennis, hello, greetings from France. Good to have you, Dennis. Good to have you. Thank you for being here. If you are somebody who hasn't subscribed or liked the view, please, this channel is growing and it's only going to get even better. So do me a favor, like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Just want you to be a part of the conversation. Good to have you, Dennis. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. Gene, hold on to Ford. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, good to have you, Dennis. Good to have you. G says they said they had a gem show out there at the same time this happened. I guess people around the world come to it. Amen. Welcome, Dennis. Yeah, I did hear about some shows. Matter of fact, not only did that person who lived next to Nancy, her neighbor, he had, I guess, a gem dealership or a gem, the wrong person's home. So yeah, and then there was another person that does gems. Even if I'm not mistaken, even Annie Guthrie did gems. Did stuff like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, once again, you get back to everything can be a damn coincidence. You know, is it probable? I mean, to be honest, I haven't even heard of that guy that lived next to Nancy Guthrie, the one that was the gem and diamond dealer or whatever, or some type of rare stones or whatever the case may be. I haven't heard if he even got back yet, right? Because the last I heard was at the beginning when they said that he was gone, that he had left, like he had left out of country, or on vacation or something. I don't know if he ever made it back. If anybody knows, let me know. But I don't even know if he's ever made it back. Yeah, no doubt, right, Gene? Another ironic opportunity. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, everybody. I mean, let's face it. A lot of people are hurting financially too, so people are going to take drastic measures and do drastic things, But you're right. I mean, that's the whole point. How do you just literally go ahead and think for 1 minute? Let's see here. How do you think for 1 minute that everything happens like spontaneously? I don't buy this stuff. I really just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think that there is a lot of reasons this stuff comes out to fruition, that they happen, you know? And so absolutely. But there's a lot of other people to cover. So don't just, we can't just stick on that. I mean, there's other things as well. Jean says, had her neighbor with the dog walked out with the dog that night, they might have caught the perps, but lost his life probably. True. Very true. Very true. Well, it also makes me wonder. You remember how, and I'm not 100% on this. So I'm saying it up front. I'm not 100% on this, but something about Savannah's dog that was with her mom, Nancy, ended up passing away, right? You guys remember hearing about that? It was Savannah's dog, but it was with Nancy, and it ended up passing away. Now, my question is, did it really pass away? Did they ever do any type of checking on that, the dog, to see if maybe somebody had possibly poisoned it or something so that it wouldn't bark when they planned their plan of going in there? Just a thought, because they ended up, if I'm not mistaken, burying that dog in the area at Nancy's home. So then the question becomes, did somebody purposely poison that dog? And I know right away people say, oh, no. Well, think about it. If you know they have a dog and you get rid of that dog, then you don't have to worry about people going ahead, a dog going ahead and barking when they hear something at night. You know what I mean? I got a little dog, you know, literally a little dog. And that little dog barks at anything, which I love because it always keeps me on my toes. Just something to think about. Be right back. I'm going to go ahead and I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and try to check out a lot of things as far as, you know, I like this kind of stuff because it's up my alley. I really never like thought I would be doing this type of, channel streaming because, some things, it just doesn't feel like, eh. But this case had a lot of importance to me because it hit home in more ways than one. And so for me, I enjoy this, and the communication and the camaraderie with all of you has been awesome. I enjoy that as well. The only thing that would make me more happier is to see a lot more people get involved and have that conversation. You know what I mean? It's funny, this family never cleared the situation about the dog, right? Yeah, and you don't hear about it very often. You don't hear people talk about it very often as to, like what happened with the dog, I mean, think about it. If this was a planned process, why wouldn't they want to get rid of the dog? Not the family, but why wouldn't they want to get rid of the dog, the people who were going to do this? And so that tells me, is it possible? Well, hell yeah, it's possible. Is it probable? You bet it's probable. Was that dog poisoned? Did somebody do that because they didn't want to hear that dog at nighttime? So it's just something to think about. Nothing happens by accident, and it's not always what you see. And you'll hear me say this a lot. It's not always what you see. Sometimes it's what you don't see, right? So sometimes when you don't know these things, you may not see the dog there, but if they never said anything about it, you would never know there used to be a dog there, and that it apparently it had died not that long ago. You know what I mean? So yeah, it makes you wonder. Gene says, hey, chat, what are some of your opinions? Tell us what are some of your opinions as far as what's going on. What are you thinking about? What's on your mind? How do you feel about everything that's happened? Gene, I wonder if she would have heard it though. They said that she had really bad ears, okay, hearing aids, and here. So maybe not, but here's the kicker, Gene. Maybe she didn't have to hear it, because maybe when that dog started barking, whoever was going to come in would have literally panicked and left, right? They would have said, oh God, whoever's in there's got to be fake. Unless they know that she has a hearing aid and she takes it off at night and she goes to bed and she doesn't hear anything. Then that's a different story, right? Makes you wonder. But yeah, I agree. She had bad ears. She literally couldn't hear very well. She always took off her watch and her hearing aids and stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. She probably wouldn't have heard it, but you know what? Anybody who was trying to break in would have heard it, and that could have freaked them out. So in their mind, if they didn't know about her hearing deficiency, they could have just said, "Hey, screw that. We're out of here, man. It's making too much noise." You know what I mean? So that's something to think about. Absolutely, without a doubt. Come on, everybody. What do you all think in the chat? Do you guys have any ideas, any questions, or do you guys have any thoughts on what's happened? Any thoughts at all? No thoughts are bad thoughts. They're just thoughts. But you're right. Going back to the dog, Savannah's dog, they didn't talk a whole lot about it. But those are the little things that people pick up on, especially law enforcement, you know. And if they don't, well, maybe they're just not worth their salt. That's all I can say. Gene says, I just don't know why the family hadn't done more with protection. They had the money. A lot of illegals were walking around out there. Here's the thing, Gene. That's probably why there's so much friction. You just can't see it with the siblings, you know, because they know they could have done more. I mean, you always ask what you could have done. When my parents passed, it was the same thing. Now, I moved back from Oklahoma here to this area, back to where I'm from, because I came back to take care of my mother. Picked up my career over here. But my point is, yeah, a lot of times people, you just don't know, and a lot of times, the reality is that people always look at what they could have done different, what might have been, what should we have done. I can guarantee you, if they had if I had the money that they had, my mom would have had a live-in nurse. She would have had someone take care of her. Still would have moved down to take care of her, but she would have had somebody here 24/7. She would have been well taken care of. Okay, talk about monitors and locks and all the windows done. Oh yeah, definitely. So I don't understand that either, because the family comes across as a very knit, tight family. But how are you such a nice, knit, tight family, and something like this just doesn't seem, especially when there's no lights out there on the roads. You know what I'm saying? They can't put lights out there. So, I mean, I would be scared if I didn't have all my protections around me. I'd be scared living out there with no lights, no street lights anywhere, everything pitch dark. You darn right I would. Hold the fort down. Hold the fort down, Gene. All right, I'm back. Let's see where we go with this next conversation. There's a lot of older folks out there today that need people to help out with them right now. I work for a 96-year-old who is too trusting and leaves her door open. Yeah, no doubt. Man, I hate seeing stuff like that. Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly about those two guys. No doubt about it. I mean, it's that old saying, and there's a reason why they say it. If it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, acts like a duck, it's probably your duck, you know? And I say that literally. Looked like he had a good sized head under that mask. I'm thinking he was bald. Most definitely. There's a lot of people of interest. Like the picture I just showed you, that's one. You have that one with the guy. I don't know if I have it on me. Let me see. Let me see here. I might have it if I can find it. Hang on. I know when I see something, I try to get. Yeah, I think I'm getting it. Yeah, I can't find it. The closest one I got really a clear one. Not a clear one. Hang on. Let's see if we can blow it up. But let's see. This guy right here, I believe, having a hard time here. This guy right here. Remember this guy? This guy is the one that had the. Let me see if I can go ahead and go a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think so. I just don't. This is the only guy I have. I have other pictures, but I think it's on my other phone. But this guy was the guy that had the two, literally the two, I don't know if you can see that. This guy was the guy that had the two backpacks that was trying to get over the fence. Remember? The guy that said that the police stopped him and they said that he lived there, but then the owners came out of the house. The owners came out and said, no, he doesn't live here. But he was already gone. Yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. Let's see if this one, maybe Maybe it's this one. This is the other photo of the guy who was trying to get over the fence. Okay, look at this picture. Can you see that? This is the guy that was trying to get over the fence. A more clearer picture. This was put out by, I believe it was Doug Goes Live or something to that effect. But that's a clear picture as well. The other one was the same guy, but it was black and white or whatever. This one here is in color. Same guy trying to get over the fence. Tell me that doesn't look like the perp as well. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Some of the things you see. All right, where are we at here? Yeah, same time. That guy was at the same time. Same coat. Now, everybody, some people may think, well, he has 2 backpacks on. Yeah, well, what makes you think he didn't put one of those backpacks down when he went, if in fact it was him, if he went to do his crime, what makes you think he didn't take off one backpack? Remember, it's not everything you see, it's what you don't see. Sometimes you got to move the equation around to get an idea of what's really happening. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. He was trying to dump that backpack, says Gene. No doubt. Yeah, I agree. They would have to have some damn good info on that individual. But, you're looking at 1:50, 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I can tell you from experience, cops get tired early in the morning too. It's not natural just to want to stay up that late, even if it is your shift. So, who knows? Maybe it was one of those, guy said he was trying to get his back door, everything's good. Clear. 10-4. I mean, you know what I mean? That happens. Yeah, I agree. I really think it very well could have been him. Change of clothes, disguise, jacket, mask, you name it. See, that's the thing. I don't even think that anybody interrogated him. Apparently, that guy, so he's trying to get into the back of the fence. The owners of the house call 911 or 411, whatever it is out there in Arizona. We use 911, so I'm going to say 911. Calls 911. They show the car, the police car coming up there. It comes up there, and apparently it makes contact with that individual. And apparently this individual says he was trying to get into his backyard to put his tools away, blah, 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 blah. Just got off of work or something. Something to that effect. And the cop, apparently that was good enough for the cop. Now, I don't know if he got a name. If he asked for a name, he probably, maybe he didn't have his wallet with him, right? And so, nothing else is said about this guy. Nothing. At least to the people. Okay? To the people, nothing is said about this guy. So there's a lot there where we're looking at going, why did they get a name? And then why I say he didn't live there was because then later the owners are asked about this, and the owners say that guy doesn't live here. The owners came out and said that. It was reported that the owner said that guy doesn't live here. Oh shit, well, what do you do now? Did you get a name? Did you get an address? Did you get anything where this guy lived? You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. That's the interesting fact about all of this. At least to me, anyway. A lot of things were done. A lot of things were not done. A lot, information may have been picked up. I think a lot of information did not get picked up. Yeah, the guy earlier. I showed that picture. Let's see if I can pull it up one more time. This guy. That guy looks a lot like the perp. That was the guy that was a little bit in the same area as Nancy Guthrie, but that guy was the guy that was caught on another camera from another house, and it was about 2 weeks before Nancy Guthrie was taken. So, very similar. Very similar. It's almost like they all look, I don't want to say they all look alike, but damn. I could see this being the perp. So who was he? Don't know. Did they go looking for this guy? Did they go try to do facial recognition on this guy? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things you can try to do to locate an individual. Okay? We have the tools. In today's time, we have tools that literally, it's not hard to be able to figure certain things out because we have the tools for it. I don't know what they did. They never said anything. And those are one of the things that I was saying, that a lot of people would literally a lot of people would go ahead and a lot of the citizens and people who live in that area, if they just told them, yes, we found this individual, or hey, we're still looking for this individual, he's a person of interest, then maybe other people, if they saw this person, would say something. But let's just say that they said, yeah, we made contact with this individual. No, he was doing some work here, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. It's not going to be the perp. Okay, fine. But at least the people know that you're doing something. You're doing something. And they know that at least you're checking out on all these leads, right? It's just common sense. Don't tell the people nothing. They're going to feel like you're doing nothing. Tell the people some things. They're going to feel like, hey, at least the police department is keeping us to speed, that they are checking these key people. They're checking it out. You know what I mean? What about, Gene says, what about the other guy on the camera? Yes. Yep. Did they say it was around her home? Yeah, they said this guy, the last one I just showed you, was literally about, he was in that neighborhood in half a mile, whatever. He was somewhere in that neighborhood of Nancy Guthrie 2 weeks prior, maybe scoping things out. Maybe he was one of the guys that lived in that house that was that rental, or that Airbnb. Maybe he was one of the three that lived there. I don't know. But because we don't hear nothing, it's like, well, did they even look into this? You know? Yeah, no doubt. That's for sure. More interrogation with a traffic stop than a potential suspect of a possible kidnapping. No doubt. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Gene said, that's what I mean. With other high profile cases, they give more info about the case to the public. This one is a total hush hush. Yeah, I don't understand it. Once again, if anything, you're trying to at ease people's minds, right? You're trying to at ease people's perception. You're trying to build that safety, that they're okay, that they're taken care of, that their safety is important. All those things. And yet, it's like they don't want to give anything. And that's the problem. And when you do that, and the people lose faith in you and lose hope in you, that you're not there for their best interest because you're not showing any type of urgency to figure this out, well, yeah, they're going to be frustrated. They're not going to be happy. You know? Of course. Who would be happy about it? Nobody with the right mind. All right. Hold on to Fort, Gene. Come right back in. Oh, man. All right, so I'm back. So, yeah, interesting, right? What does everybody in the chat think? Hang on a second. What does everybody think in the chat? What do you guys think? Anybody got any ideas, takes, opinions? If you are watching and you're in here, please click subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Click like. Make sure you go ahead and share it to your other viewers and followers of your channel or whatnot. I appreciate it wholeheartedly. But yeah, think about that for a minute. Does anybody else have any opinions on that? Gene says, let's see here. That's what I mean with other okay. Locally, by me, our sheriffs will even send a letter to the public, even hold meetings in their case. Out here, it's dead baby in the garbage, and they had messages, or they had meetings and searchers out there. Yeah, no, most people will give you information because they know the confidence of the people is why they're in the position, okay? The confidence of the people are why they are in that position. You know, people trust them to make the right decisions. So therefore, the confidence, you want to always make sure the people that you serve are literally happy the fact that you are keeping them up to speed. You are letting them know what's up. You are, keeping them informed. Their safety is your main concern. But when you don't do that, yeah, when you don't do that, nothing good comes out of it. Nothing good comes out of it. And as you're seeing now, with nanos being recalled, you're seeing everything that's happening. You're hearing about it. And it's getting ugly. And it's only going to get more ugly. What does anybody else think? Anybody else got any opinions? So yeah, that's where we're at. Anybody else have any thoughts? Any ideas? Any suggestions? Any type of things that they might have missed? Or info where it's at? Anything. Look, if anybody's out there, I mean, it's just so depressing when you really stop and think about it. It's so depressing. Anybody got any info? Anybody think that there's anything going on? Anybody think that they saw the perps, the people of interest, potential suspects? Anybody have any idea? If you do, definitely call the FBI ASAP. Don't hesitate. 1-800 call FBI ASAP. Get that information to them. It could literally change your life financially. But the big thing is, it's the right thing to do, people. It's the right thing to do. I would hope that if other people went through these things, that people would be there for them, I would like to think that it's not about just that, Nancy her daughter is, well known through the Today Show, but that it's because people want to do the right thing. That's what I would hope. Just an observation, that's all. Just an observation. especially with that box. Yep. I still can't believe that there's no other camera footage if there was a blackout. They should look into cable guys. I mean, there's so much they could look into, and yet they don't say anything. All right, Gene. Keep everybody company. Give me a second. All right. I'm back. Maybe you can interview the cable guy. Maybe you can interview the cable guy to find out if this is plausible. I don't know how much this works with that, especially with that box. See if you can get one on to your chat. I can try. I mean, I'm always willing to try, no doubt about it. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for free. It doesn't cost you anything. And please click like to the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll definitely try to do that, Gene. I will look into that. The other thing is the fact of the other thing we have is, like, I heard yesterday someone talking about it, that you remember when they were saying that people's cameras were being like glitching out or whatever, or like not being picked up, not being able to record, or having like connection problems, if you will. And I heard an individual yesterday talking about that, and they were saying that some walkie-talkies actually do distort or break up the Wi-Fi. That some actually break up the Wi-Fi. Some walkie-talkies have that capability to break up the Wi-Fi, thus creating, unable to get any type of reading or whatnot. And you ask, why is that important? Because they supposedly, it was reported that they believe these individuals use walkie-talkies of some sort. I'm going to call them walkie-talkies because I'm kind of old, but they use walkie-talkies to communicate back and forth. So I say that because I heard that yesterday, and then they went ahead and Googled it, and sure enough, it does say that some walkie-talkies or radio communication devices can cause Wi-Fi to be disturbed. I was shocked. I never knew that. But they did say that they suspected that that's what they were using, or that's what they thought one of the perps had, was a walkie-talkie of some sort. Just interesting when you think about it, you know? But yeah, they Googled it, and sure as heck, man, it came out. That's what it was. That's what it said it could do. But I will definitely do that. No doubt about it. See, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out through digging through a lot of people, and then some stuff, they're just not giving you anything, no information, no hope. And I get it. Sometimes, they don't want anybody stepping on in what they're trying to accomplish, and not just that, but they don't want to jeopardize their case, which is totally understandable. But giving the people the reassurance and the know that they're being taken care of, that they are being taken care of, for the most part, that's crucial. That's crucial. Once again, I can't stress it enough. You lose faith, if the people lose faith in their law enforcement, my God, it takes a lot to get it back. It takes a lot to get it back, because people just don't trust that you have their best interests. You don't have their best interests. That's what people think, and rightly so. So that's where that's at. Share this out to everybody. Do me that favor, please. Anybody got any other opinions that maybe they have? Anybody in the live that has any opinions as to who, what, when? What do you all think? Do you like the live? Do you find it very informative? Do you find it informative that it's coming from somebody with prior law enforcement experience, who has investigated cases before like this or similar? Let me know. Because that's the whole point, is to go ahead and be able to have that conversation. But they should give direction as to why they're looking for those dates. Maybe it will speak someone's mind to that day. Oh, I agree. I totally agree. That's just the thing, there's just too much quietness right now. And I get it, it's that quiet before the storm, No, there's just too many. There needs to be a little bit more communication. And now the FBI is actually handling it, to my understanding. It's no longer, from what's been reported, it's no longer Pima County Sheriff's Office handling anything. It is all the FBI. Well, God, you're probably not going to get anything for sure. They're not going to say nothing. I mean, not that they're bad or anything. It's just they're not going to say nothing, And they're probably going to start from the beginning as well, just like what we did on this channel. Going back to the beginning, because there's so much that was missed. Let's go back to the beginning. That's probably what they did, and it's hey, look, no one's going to put their stamp on something that they didn't go ahead and do, right? No one's going to take anybody's information, especially if it didn't result in any success. They're going to go ahead and do their own investigation. They're not going to take anybody else's because it hasn't produced anything. And that's just common sense. Hold down for me. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I heard that they only had to my understanding, the whole department of Pima County Sheriff's Department are very young. I think they said the average experience is about 2 to 4 years. That's a lot. I mean, that's very young for a sheriff's department, because usually they are senior heavy, age-wise and experience. That's no doubt. And there is. They said that, if I recall right, they said that there is two deputies who are investigators, because every sheriff's department has its own investigations as well. But two in Pima County deputies are attached to, I believe, 4 FBI agents to make it a total of 6, and that's who's actually running the case, all headed by the FBI, but with 2 Pima County deputies. So you're right. I heard that. That was reported. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I wish they would give the people a little bit more. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, that's what happens. People run for sheriff, new people come in, and some people don't like maybe the new perspective person, and so they just say, hey, I'm done. I'm going to call my career. It happens a lot. I'm not going to lie. It does happen quite a bit, actually. There's always that, little bit of animosity of who got the position last and this, that, and the other, But still, most sheriff's departments are literally top heavy. They're not light heavy. They're top heavy. It is that way. So that's what we're at right now. I want to talk about other issues. Man, you can't rely anymore on information, because there is none. You can rely on getting more information to help people understand certain things, because there is none. It is literally cold. Not cold case, just cold as in there is nothing out there. No one's given nothing. And like I said, I don't believe you're going to hear anything else. I believe what you hear from people who understand how it all works, from what you hear. You got people out there that are reporting when people come to Nancy Guthrie's house. You got people like Martha Shark. You got people like literally like James is supposed to be coming in, but he's always out there searching. You got people like John DePietro, that's always out there walking back and forth with his gimbal, which is just basically a recording device, your live recording device. But the thing about it is that you have all this. Okay, you have all this. There's people out there that are doing this stuff, doing good work. What you don't have is people literally, you can call, people can say, oh, we got boots on the ground. Where's your boots? Where's your boots on the ground? There's no boots on the ground. Don't mislead what really boots on the ground means. When you're talking to a retired military veteran, tell me boots on the ground and your boots on the ground is just like a slogan. Boots on the ground means you got people out there, or In the military, boots on the ground means we're hitting that combat zone. They're getting ready to put boots on the ground right now in Iran, that type of thing. But to make it seem like, oh, we got this and that, and no, you're just reporting. That's all you're doing is reporting, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. That's keeping the people, watching and interested, and seeing everything that you're doing, and that's great. But if you're going to go out there, and here's the thing, like I said, I heard the interview with Brian Etten, and I heard with the ex sheriff of Pima County, who actually Sheriff Nanos worked under that. They had an interview. Brian Etten had it. Basically, in a nutshell, he gave. I mean, I'll be honest. He said everything that I know as law enforcement. I mean, I remember just looking and going, wow, he's covering he's saying everything that I've been telling people, you know, and it's because it's all the same. It's just different, different type of cases, but it's all the same. It's how it works. It's how it operates, you know. Not everybody can be in law enforcement. Not anybody, it's not made for everybody, The stress level is high, the hours are long. The pay's not the greatest. I mean, there's so much, the sacrifice is huge. It takes, as far as I'm concerned, it takes special people to work in that field. So anybody who wants to go ahead and just give that little, thing about, where we can all play cops, that doesn't work that way. It just don't work that way. And that's why I tell you all, I would much rather talk to somebody or literally listen to somebody who has understanding of the law enforcement background, who has understanding on investigations, who has understanding on how things work, than somebody who, well, for all sake and purposes, is just, I don't know how to be nice about it, but I think you know where I'm going with this. Once again, I'll just say, you don't ask a plumber to tell you how to bake a cake. I mean, you don't ask, a freaking electrician to, how do you do roofing? It just doesn't work that way. And that's just a fact. Don't mean any disrespect, but that's just a fact. You go to the people who know how this works, and a lot of people out here seems like, they just seem to gravitate on personality and not reality. Personality will always get you when you choose personality over reality. Because reality is that you're not knowing the truth. So how can you spread the truth? Just saying. Just my opinion. But all right, I'm done rambling. What we got here? All right. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Click like. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just lets you know when I'm going ahead and going live. And man, you guys have been awesome. Gene, I want to thank you for going ahead and filling in when I had to go in and out. I appreciate you, and I really would consider putting you as a moderator, if you don't mind. I would love to put you as a moderator. So keep that in mind. Let me know. Send me a message. Shoot me a message on my email. Let me know what you think. But yeah, the key is we have to build this channel so that we can get more people involved and more people understanding what's really happening. And we know crime's not going to stop. Crime wasn't going to stop before this. It's not going to stop after this. And I hope that I'll be able to continue to spread the word to people who really want to hear the truth, So that's where I'm at. All right, go ahead and do that, Gene. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I might go live again at 4 or 5 o'clock this evening. I didn't do it yesterday. I was going to, but I didn't do it because, man, like you guys know, my back was killing me. My ankle was killing me. I mean, I had a lot of stuff going on. Still do, but, you know, just trying to power through it like Marines do, right? We power through it. So I want to thank everybody. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. And like I said, pass the word out. Get that word out. You guys find any information, any one of you, send me the email. You have my email. I gave it to y'all. So, you know, I gave you my email. Send it. Send it to my email, and let's make it happen. With that, God bless. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you spending time with me. Remember, as I always say, everything is common sense. Everything is common sense. Whether people elect to use it or not, that's a different story. But everything is common sense, because that's how I roll. With that, Semper Fi, everybody. God bless.